Let's look at the central banks, which decided on Wednesday to leave interest rate unchanged at 9.5% as the outgoing governor, Patrick Njoroge, bows out of office this month as the head of the financial regulator. And also, this excerpts from Njoroge's nearly 1-hour press briefing yesterday as he spoke extensively on Kenya's foreign currency, the exchange rate, the inflation, and the state of the broad economy.
Monetary policy does not work on sugar prices or vegetable prices, and frankly, this relates to second-round effects because, as you can imagine, sugar is used for many products. Actually, as I understand it, including animal feed. So there is actually that sort of second-round effect, just like fuel is used for many things, transportation, etc. So anyway, so we still feel that we feel comfortable that inflation will continue to come down in the next imminently really, towards our into our target and towards the midpoint of, or the midpoint of our target zone. So that's really what I wanted to say about inflation, and I think the next slide is on growth. We could move on to growth. And the first element here is on the real GDP numbers, or the GDP numbers that were released with the economic survey. Most of you have looked at these numbers carefully, so I'll just touch on them. And I think the first surprise, we were the most surprised because the overall growth that were for 2022, these are the first print numbers, was 4.8%. Ours, as you recall, was 5.6. That was the number that we had been holding for about, I think, more than 4 months. Because the last time we did not revise it, and we decided that we do need we needed some let's say the first numbers related to 2022. Now, the real driver of this was actually agriculture. Our growth estimate for agriculture in 2022 was actually minus 0.3%. And it turns out it was at minus 1.6%. That's a huge difference for such an important sector in terms of overall, the share in overall GDP. And so we have tried to understand better that difference, but in truth, we are still not at the point where we can say we do understand why our estimate was so out of line with the fast print numbers. We'll continue. That is some sort of steady work that needs to be done. So that work stream is continuing. But I think here is where we have already looked at our leading indicators and believe that we are quite comfortable with the accuracy or the robustness of those leading indicators, except for this one outcome, that is 2021. So it's a deviation we do need to understand better. For instance, but it's clear that agriculture was hit hard, right? Why? 2021 growth of, or rather a contraction of 0.4%, then 2022 contraction of 1.6%, 2 years in a row of contraction. You have to go back to 1991, actually 91, 92, 93, to have sort of sequential years that have, let's say, negative growth, or correctly, better English, contraction. So in that sense, it's very unusual to have it. And still on that point, it therefore means that there'll be a stronger rebound, if you are thinking of base effects and things like that in 2023. But I think the point here is that agriculture will depend, as always, on the rains that are there. And we have seen adequate rains. Even today we've been receiving the rains, and we are pretty much at the end of May. But I think the issue here is let's wait and see, and we'll give you a few more numbers on this. The next slide, there was, maybe go back a bit. I wanted to just make the point that you can see that the growth was driven largely by services. Services sector grew by 7%. But also you can see there has been other numbers that are worth looking at. Manufacturing, 2.7, even though actually it has rebounded quite strongly in other areas.